GAG and you know we're watching. We're GAG and you know we're watching. We're GAG and you know we're watching. That's Gays Against Guns. Glad tidings we bring and queer atmosphere. Glad tidings for Christmas and a gun-free New Year.
Gays Against Guns, or GAG, is an LGBTQ activist group. It was formed after the Orlando tragedy that left 49 people dead in a gay nightclub in June.
You know, we're working towards gun reform and gun reform laws. We see that easy access to weapons and hate and bigotry kind of form a greater possibility of people in the queer community becoming targeted and killed for hate crimes. And we saw that with Omar Mateen when he was able to legally purchase all of the assault rifles that killed 49 of our brothers and sisters at Pulse.
We got into the habit of every time there was a tragedy, we would change our Facebook profile pictures and post about it and then go about our regular lives again. And we just decided collectively that we didn't want to do that anymore.
And this time they didn't. 3 days after the massacre, Kevin and Brian posted a call to action on Facebook. They got in touch with City Council member Corey Johnson, and in less than 2 weeks later, GAG held its first protest in New York City's Gay Pride Parade. Since June, GAG has protested against politicians who receive money from the NRA and corporations who give money to the NRA.
Who took the money from the NRA?
Gays Against Guns, when we first began, decided we had to address that very question of what we were for and what we were against. But what we decided was that we were only going to ask for things that were possible to get. And what's possible to get is stricter background checks, a reinstatement of the assault weapons ban, a ban on high-capacity magazines, changes at the state and local level. And all those things become meaningful when you add them up. And that's why the NRA works so hard to make sure that none of it happens.
The Center for Responsive Politics, a nonpartisan group that studies money spent on elections, estimated that the NRA spent around $50 million on this year's elections. For the presidential election alone, the NRA spent $30 million.
Can't have it both ways. Drop the guns or lose the gays. You can't have it both ways. Drop the guns or lose the gays. You
In December,
can't have it
the group
both
called
ways.
for a boycott of corporations who have deals with the NRA. There are over 2,300 companies that offer generous discounts for members of the NRA.
The National Rifle Association is a special interest group. It's the gun lobby. They support politicians that vote down common sense gun legislation. We were just at FedEx, now we're at Wyndham, we're also go to Hertz. All three corporations offer steep discounts to members of the NRA, and the NRA supports gun violence.
Some protesters dress in all white and carry the picture of a person who has passed away.
They are representing people who have died who cannot be here today, and so we are creating a presence for them in their place.
Move over there, get away from these manual doors. These are for our guests.
Back up more.
Hey, these guys are representing people who are dead.
Okay.
Okay. If you have a problem, you talk to me.
The cops are coming on their way right now. They'll talk to you.
That's fine.
Oh, Donnie, the con man, says he wants to build a wall.
For some, the election of Donald Trump turned them into first-time activists.
Political activism, not so much. I've done, things like for HIV/AIDS and fundraising and stuff, but never this kind of political activism. My activism really was much more about getting out and voting and things like that. But this election definitely has made me more active.
I am a product of the Gay Liberation Front, the Stonewalls, the ACT UPs, the Queer Nations, marriage equality. As a young activist, I am a product of all of that. Just as they have helped facilitate and save lives, that's what I hope to do with GAG, and that's what I hope GAG can do.
Brian.